I had just spent 6 years working on a passion project to open a nonprofit to help people with cancer and put my whole life into it. And we went through a huge change. A couple of people left, and so I was about to quit.
Welcome to Be Brave. At Be Brave, we help people discover a lasting personal transformation through creativity, courage, and community. I am Elena Imaretska, and today I'm joined by my two great friends, Margie Simmons and Jenny Lilladal. Today we're diving into the topic of change. What do we do when big change happens and we feel as if the rug has been pulled from under our feet?
True.
Sounds familiar.
And we've all been going through a lot of it, right?
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was telling you this story, and as you know, I lost my sister to cancer, and one of the things I did was try to help create this nonprofit organization. And so I had put everything into this, hours and hours and hours, and energy and emotion, and you know, it was my passion project. And we were about 6 years in, and 2 people suddenly left. It was a huge change, and for me it felt like the last straw. Like, I can't handle this change. This is too much. I'm gonna quit. And it was a crossroads. That it was one of those changes where it was a punch in the gut, and it was like, oh no, I have nothing left. I can't do this. But luckily,
It's so interesting that we were talking about change, and there's all these incremental changes that you somehow get used to, and then that last one, like, it builds up.
true.
It
Good
builds
point.
up.
Yeah. What's that phrase? Camel. About the camel, the straw, not the camel, the straw that breaks the camel's back. That was the straw that broke the camel's back.
Oh, Jenny.
Or the rug that gets pulled out from under you, right?
Oh.
So I didn't know what to do. But luckily, I had a couple smart people in my life that helped remind me that I'm an improviser. And so we are going to share with you today one of the things we teach and share with our Be Brave students, which is when that sudden change comes to you, to create almost like a personal little mission for yourself. And it's about choosing one thing to focus on and give yourself that purpose to get through that period of change.
That's cool. So
Margie's-
how do we start?
How do we start,
How do we
Margie?
start? Help. So first things first, you have to do a brain dump. So you have to get all of the possibilities out there. I call it almost not microtasking yet, but getting those ideas either on paper or even verbally, or even just spending some specific amount of time thinking about all of those possibilities can help you to kind of get them out. So we spend so much of our energy of our day in that spinning if we're not careful about it and intentional about it. And so by getting those ideas out, then at least they're there, they're a possibility, and now I can move forward.
I love it.
Absolutely. And part of the brain dump also could be just how you're feeling about the change, right?
True,
'Cause
yes.
that's a big emotional response. When something changes, you just feel, I don't know what to do next. And you might go into stress response, right? You could be in fight, flight, freeze, any of those. So it's important to also brain dump your emotions so that you can then move with the next step. The next step really is actually freeing yourself from all the possibilities and just prioritizing and picking one thing. And that one thing we call kind of your true north. And the cool thing about the true north is it could be just for a period of time. And that's actually really important because when change happens, things are moving. And also it feels almost too much to be like, oh, my true north for the end of days, will be X. That's kind of impossible. But picking a true north for, let's say, the next phase, the next week, the next day, depending on your situation. And I was telling
Oh.
you guys, I have a little story about this. So my husband is an ultra marathoner. He runs 100-mile races. That's his passion, and I
He's
love.
crazy.
Well,
That's crazy.
Wonderfully crazy.
He's amazing.
He is amazing.
He's amazing.
Yeah.
He's amazing, and I love that he's so dedicated and works so hard and just loves it so much. So I love supporting him in that. And so in his first Rio kind of ultra marathon that he was doing out in Arizona in the desert, I was there to support him, and I was going to pace and run with him for the last 20 miles.
Can you go back and tell some of us that might not know what exactly is the length of an ultra
Oh,
marathon?
good question.
Good question.
Margaret.
This one, there are different
Because you just
lengths.
said the last 20 miles, which I was like, isn't that almost a marathon?
It is. Yeah, so ultra marathon could be any length more than a marathon, but this one was 100 miles. Yes, 100 miles.
And he runs it all at once?
Yes, one person runs all at once.
Okay,
yeah.
and so you're the pace person.
Yeah.
So does that mean you're like a rabbit? Like, do you wear a rabbit costume? And like,
You can, if you wish, if you wish. I was not at that point of time. But let me get back to my
Sorry,
story.
sorry. We're so
Like the
intrigued
last
by this.
20 miles.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So it was 3 a.m. in the desert, and
Wait. Okay, sorry.
Yes.
3 a.m.
3
Okay.
a.m. And so, so I'm waiting for him. He did arrive, and he shared that he sprained his ankle about 5 miles before, so he was in a lot of pain. And I said, well, we have to keep going, because I know, this is his goal, this is his passion, we have to finish this race. So my true north for the next 20 miles really was, let's keep going. I did the math, and I knew that we could just hike it. We don't have to run because he couldn't really run at that time. Let's just keep walking, keep him positive, keep him hydrated, and we're going to finish. And that was my mantra, my true north. And so we did that from 3 a.m. to about 9:30 a.m. the next morning, and he finished.
Oh,
He
That's
finished.
so cool.
It was
Elena.
amazing,
that.
He did it, and
You know what I love about that story is that oftentimes during drastic change, there's different roles people have.
Yeah.
And so you were sort of in that caregiver role or that support role, and it's just as important to have sort of that plan or that true north or that one thing, whether you're the person directly affected by it or you're the person supporting. And I think people who have been in caregiver roles know that. We sometimes forget about the caregiver, but that's really
Yeah.
cool.
yeah.
I thought it was so cool that you did it so immediately. And from my observation, you were able to move to, okay, this is what we have to do. We're in this moment. We need to figure out where we're going, and this is now my role. I'm going to support you, and we're going to finish however we finish. And because you had been practicing this so much in your life, of change comes, and I'm learning how to deal with it. Your brain dump in this scenario, in this story, was probably done on your way to Arizona. Of, whew, let's try to just at least think of when I support you, what are all the things that could happen? And then, as life gives us, you probably didn't predict the one that you needed to, the tool you might have needed to pull out of the pocket at that 3 a.m. moment. And yet, because you had practiced these behaviors, you were able to do that. I love that.
That's right.
Awesome. And then there's a third part, right? So we do the brain dump, the brainstorm, the kind of going through the what ifs, and then you pick your true north. And then it's important to, like Elena said, with having a true north for a specific period of time, it's important to have sort of a built-in check-in for yourself and just kind of check back. How am I doing? Am I still on my compass point? At this point, you can ask friends for support. You can have a team that you check in with, or a person you check in with, or even a thing that you've written down to check in with for yourself. And then know you might have to adjust, and that's totally fine. That's where that pivoting comes in.
You did that with your story. Tell us how
yeah.
it
So,
unfolded.
okay. That's right. So with the cancer organization, and we had 2 people leave, and there was about 8 of us who were remaining on the board, and someone very smart in the group said, let's get together this weekend. And we did. We got together, and we did the brain dump. We sort of brainstormed all the possibilities. Do we stop? Do we quit? What do we do? And then the very smart True North suggestion was, can the 8 of us just commit to not doing anything drastic for 6 weeks. Can we just stick with this for 6 weeks? And for that 6-week period of time, we're gonna look at our budget, and then at the end of 6 weeks, we're gonna reassess and check in. And so we did that. We did the brain dump. 8 of us went around the circle and committed for 6 weeks, we're gonna do this. And at the end of 6 weeks, we're gonna check in. And long story short, we raised $5 million and we opened the organization 5 years ago. And I'm so glad I didn't quit.
I'm so
I am
glad.
so That's amazing, Jenny. $5 million.
wow.
And how many people have been served?
Yeah,
now?
we've had about 30,000 visits
30,000
to
visits, yeah.
to our clubhouse, and it really did come to that moment of change. And there were a few more along the way. And by that time, I had learned this tool. Okay, pause. Do the brain dump. What's the moment? What's the one thing we need to focus on for what period of time? Check in. It works. Create your own mission.
Fantastic.
That is so great. This was awesome. So, many of you out there, I think it's common now. We all are experiencing so much change. So if you are experiencing change, or if you feel like that rug is being pulled out from under your feet and you're feeling unbalanced, create that mission for yourself. And how do you start? You start with that brain dump, get those ideas out there, find your true north, and then adjust as needed. Have that set period of time and just begin.
That's right. So this week, try it. Even if you don't have any big change or any big shift, just try this technique with anything. Brainstorm, commit to true north, and then adjust as needed. Let us know how it goes. Please join us in our Facebook group where we create this community of support, and let us know how it's going. We would love to hear your questions, observations, ideas, and experiences there.
Yay! We're so glad you came and played with us. Thank you so much. Please join us next week. We will be so happy to see you. And remember, be brave. We're with you, and you got this.
Yeah.